Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, and welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. This is episode number 34. Today, Hoby Milner, the left-handed pitcher for the Texas Rangers, going to be joining us from Pittsburgh, where the Rangers are playing a series this weekend. This is brought to you by the AAA Round Rock Express. Big thanks to them for always taking care of us there. Hit that subscribe button down below, guys. Hit the subscribe button over at the DLLS YouTube channel. They're covering everything. They've got the Mavericks, Stars, Cowboys, Rangers, doing some college stuff too over there. All your sports right there with beat writers on the beat for all four of them, including Jeff over here and John Radigan, who was here this week, and Abby's running around everywhere getting good audio, video, and doing some other clips. But this is the place to be, DLLS. Thank you for the weekly podcast. We appreciate that. Get on that daily podcast too, where they're covering it every day. But we're here to talk today. Hoby Milner is going to join us, but we're going to talk about the big league thing. We're going to start about that first. And it was horrible. This has been this is bad 3 days.
Yeah, it was.
And I've thought about this. Do I think this is a team that can compete? Absolutely. Do I think this team that can get the playoffs? Yes. And they're only a game and a half or two out of the wild card, whatever it is. They're still in this thing. But this team lives, breathes, and dies by what Corey Seager and Josh Smith are doing. Apparently, they're the catalyst to get anything going. And I'm telling you, they're yesterday aside where they didn't get but one hit, but the 2 games before that they got beat, they were getting hits, but boy, they are not getting timely hits. And Corey looks lost.
I don't want to make too big of a deal out of Corey Seager because he's going to be fine. Aaron Judge is slumping right now.
Yeah.
He
is.
If it's okay for Aaron Judge to slump, it's okay for Corey Seager to slump.
Sure.
And he's working on it. He's not happy about it. He talked about it after the game.
He stood up and talked. I love that.
And, that's great. But everybody on this team has struggled. And,
sure.
And for people to dump on Corey Seager, yeah, he's making a lot of money. But Corey Seager is not the problem here. Okay, it's been a season-long thing. When he's been healthy, for the most part, he's been good. He's been drawing walks. So it's not the fact that he isn't seeing the pitches. He's just
he's out. He's off.
He's off. The whole team's off.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, don't.
And my point was not saying that it's all Corey Seager's fault. My point is
but
this.
There are people out there who are.
Oh God.
And,
oh my God. Maybe he's washed up. Maybe he's. Oh God.
It's not.
Look at Simeon.
Simeon has come back, had a nice resurgence. Adolis Garcia's had a nice resurgence. I mean, the issue is just that these guys are wildly inconsistent. Berger and who actually wasn't bad on the homestand. Josh Young is a problem.
Sure.
That's got to get straightened out.
And it will. I think it will.
I think it will too, because it can't be this bad.
No.
No. I don't think he's going to bat 400 the rest of the season. But he hasn't hit a home run in 3 weeks, I think it is.
Sure.
And neither is Seager. Seager hasn't now. And now Seager had the excuse of being injured, but I think he's 9 for his last 63, which isn't very good.
No.
And Young is 12 for his last, I looked it up, like 74. I mean, these are big bad numbers. But they've been big and bad all year. But if people are concerned about Corey Seager, don't be concerned about Corey Seager. People are making a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, and let me tell you why Corey's such a professional. Look, we have said over and over, Corey's not big on talking a lot. He will talk to you. He's very friendly. He doesn't like to do podcast, all that stuff. But he's such a professional in the point when he knows questions got to be asked and answered, he's going to stand up and answer them. And he was at his locker yesterday after the game, where we've seen so many times where he's out of there or you don't see him. He stays back eating or whatever. Never afraid to talk to you when you see him or do nothing like that. But he was at his locker. He stood there, took the questions, made no excuses, said nothing. He said, I'm off. I'm trying to get there. He goes, everything. I loved his answer. I don't care what anyone says. His answer was professional, and basically in the way he put it professionally was, I freaking suck right now. And I am doing everything to try to get out of the funk I'm in. And you know what? I'm going to keep doing it every day. Remember, he did not go out on a rehab. They figured his lineup, and rightly so, his bat in the lineup with no rehab is better than some guy they can bring up from AAA or somebody to try to take his spot. Let him get his at bats here. Let him figure it out. Maybe he needs a blow every once in a while, just take a day off and get his head right. But Corey Seager isn't like those other guys where it was so bad you need to sit him for 4 games. You don't do that with Corey Seager.
Look, in the midst of this slump, the Rangers have had 2 16-run games.
Yep.
Just Corey Seager's presence in the lineup
is so much
makes other teams think about it.
And you're not going to move him out of the 3 spot.
Even with the numbers as they are currently, teams are pitching around him.
Yep.
So, I mean, and it's not his fault that he gets on base and doesn't get driven home.
Yeah.
I think you can look at the batting average and be like, but if you look at the on base percentage over the same stretch, you're like, all right, this guy's on base more than a lot of these guys on the team. So, and he's cognizant,
right.
Needs to have, the team needs to get the big hits. He needs to get the big hits.
He wants to get the big hits.
But and to your point about professionalism, typically we interview him when everything's going great.
Yeah.
And he never likes to talk about what he's doing well. He always talks about the rest of the team and how the rest of the team is.
He hates talking about himself.
And so he is professional. No, he's not in the clubhouse a lot because he's going about his routine that he is dedicated to and has helped him become this great player. But exactly. I just think that anybody who's pulling their hair out and saying Corey Seager is washed up or needs to be traded, you're just out of your mind.
Well, and then there's those that are blaming Justin Veal. It's his fault. Veely, whatever you say. They're blaming him because look how bad it's been for 2 years. It's like, well, this guy didn't come till this winter. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even here last year. Yeah. So it was Donnie Ecker's fault. Now it's Veely's fault. And I guess now it's Boone's fault. I don't know. The thing is, this team, they are just, boy, they look like they're coming out of it. And I still think, look, they got a lot of hits those first 2 games.
The June numbers still put them toward the top of the league.
Yeah.
Okay. They had 3 bad games. And the guys who the Royals pitched are pretty good.
Yeah. They're not bad at all.
Seth Lugo finished second in the Cy Young last year.
Right.
Bubich was the pitcher of the month in the American League for May.
Yeah.
And then Michael Wacha is Michael Wacha. He's been around for a long time. And know why he's been around for a long time? Because he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
So
he's consistent and he eats innings.
I don't need to hear about I don't know. I'm flustered for on a level of reasons. I like it when the Rangers win because it makes our job easier to do.
Sure.
We are still at DLS a subscription-based outlet, and we want more readers.
Sure.
And
it's better when you're
when the team is good.
Yeah.
But to sit here after and in 3 games it was bad. I mean, you lost 3 games to a team that had lost 6 in a row, but there were reasons behind it. They have a chance to get healthy, and again, baseball's such a long season. And no, they're 3 games below 500. I get it, but they still have more than half the season to go, and nobody's running away with it. There's no great team right now in the American League. There's definitely not a great team in the West.
Yeah, Astros lost 2 out of 3 from the A's.
So they can 100% the Rangers get back into it. Do I think they're going to? I don't know. It's going to be hard because we have a lot of sample now. We have 2.5 months of baseball, and this is what you've got. And yes, the pitching is going to regress. The starting pitching is going to regress just because it has to.
Yep.
Everything's going to average out, and you've kind of seen it with Leiter, who's young, and it's a heck of a load you're putting on a guy who's in his first full big league season to expect him to go out and pitch, like DeGrom and Eovaldi.
Yeah.
Eovaldi's hurt. Tyler Mahle's hurt. Right now is a delicate time to be in the starting rotation, but the pitching is still giving the Rangers a chance to win on most nights. It didn't Tuesday. It probably did. I do think, it did.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Well, yesterday was a bullpen game,
But they kept them in it. Oh, you're talking about starting pitching.
I thought Corbin Tuesday, what was better than he gave up the 3-run homer, which, you can argue that it should have been 2 outs and instead of 1 out when he made that pitch because of the replay that got missed.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just kind of a fragile time on the pitching front, and that's when you need the offense to be.
You're right. They've got to pick it up.
And so this is the time they need to snap out of whatever the hell has had them in this for 75, 80 games, 75, I think now.
Yeah.
So they need to get it together.
Yeah, they certainly do. And man, talk about yesterday that Caglione, that home run he hit off of Latz. Good Lord.
Great pitch.
That was an unbelievable pitch. You go to a kid like that's first up, you get 2 strikes on him, and you go up and high in the zone, because what normally happens, they can't catch up to it up high, and if he does, it's going to go up. It's going to pop it up more than likely, or he's going to swing and miss. Look at Adolis that goes after high pitches and gets struck out all the time. What a great pitch. He just went up there and, God, it was.
Well, I think he was probably guessing that that's where the pitch was going to go.
And he guessed right.
He had made the adjustment and beat him to the spot. Kerry Carpenter hit a home run off of DeGrom in Detroit. Same situation. And DeGrom afterwards said, I have no problem with the pitch I threw. He just beat me to the spot.
Yeah.
And so, that happens sometimes.
Yep.
Latz was great. And so I think.
Did y'all talk to Latz after the game?
Yeah, I think Latz is.
He's going to start next game.
Going to be in the rotation. I think
should be
no more bullpen games because Jake Latz has now been stretched out. He went 5 2/3 innings.
He went 80 pitches, 78. 80?
I looked up and I was like, oh man, he's in his 4th inning. This is pretty good. I was like, oh man, he's in his 5th inning,
and he should go back out.
Like, oh my God, here he comes. So he's been,
and he got 2 outs in that inning, and
I think he was batter to batter at that point. But
yeah,
they're going to be in pretty good. That's a very pleasant development. Now, I'm not saying he's
going to do that.
Young winner,
no,
but boy, it sure beats a bullpen game. And
yes,
and it's probably just going to be very temporary because of Eovaldi. He's going to throw a live in Pittsburgh, and after that, I bet they bring him in. So maybe they could piggyback Eovaldi and Latz for Evaldi's first couple starts off the injured list. But it's that was a very pleasant development from yesterday's game.
Yeah.
The rest of it not so pleasant.
What about Malley? What's the?
Yeah, we talked to him on Tuesday maybe, and he said he feels fine.
They put him on
he's just on a no-throw situation. And he doesn't know how long it's going to last.
And they put him on the IL, so he's got at least 15 days.
Yeah.
So,
but I was told initially it would be longer than 15 just because they want to get it cleared up. But he sounds like he's ready to go right now.
Yeah, he wants back in it. He wants to go. Then you've got Gray and Bradford that are getting ready to come. Bradford is closer, right?
Yeah, he's been sick. He's had like the flu or something.
That's who I heard him talking about. That's who Bochy was talking about.
So he didn't get to throw this week. So he might be set back a little bit. They were planning on, early July for him, which is still possible. But he's been delayed a few days. Gray could also be before the All-Star break. And I don't think there's any question now that he's coming back as a
reliever.
Right. And I think he's totally on board with that. And
I think he's ready to get back. He's
throwing breaking balls finally. He has 2 more bullpens and then 2 lives, and then he'll go out
on a rehab.
So they may push it to the All-Star break just because there may not be a need to rush. But
sure,
I would want to see it though, because if the Rangers think they're a contender, but if they have this John Gray kicking ass in the bullpen, then maybe that changes how they approach the
trade deadline.
Yeah.
Which, let me be clear, unless there's an utter collapse in the next 4 or 5 weeks, they are not selling. I mean, They might sell a 40-man spot for nothing really in return to clear a spot, but they're not selling. I mean, you've got who's the most who would they sell?
Well,
Maybe Malley if he was healthy. I mean,
yeah, and well, that's another reason why they might be taking their time. Get him healthy.
yeah.
Okay, Malley, Chris Martin, who's dealing with a back issue.
Yep.
So I don't know that
teams aren't going to line up for that.
Our guest, Hoby Milner, anybody who's on a 1-year contract
is obviously a candidate.
Yeah, and boy, these guys are looking great. You can make an argument that Hoby Milner, even though he goes about it differently, might be somebody that a team wants.
Now, as far as buying goes, they might be in the market for a bat. You think they might?
Yeah,
it would be a DH
bat, though.
Yeah, nothing expensive, but a DH right hand.
And that's it. They're also limited by their finances.
Sure.
So I mean, it might be, a trade where you send somebody who's making major league money, on the 40-man, a guy on the active roster right now, you're sending away to get help just to make the books work. So
yeah. Look, I don't see the Rangers being majorly active. I think they'll make a move. They're going to do.
Look, they can get hot. We all know they can.
Yeah,
and that's the belief that they're going to keep going. But it's harder and harder to believe when the team gets completely shut down and reverts to the form they've had the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah,
offensively.
And I guess the only thing I could see is if at some point they said this just doesn't look like it's going to happen, let's start getting some younger guys some activity here the second half, and maybe they did look to move some of these pitchers, but they're not going to get a big return. They're just, I mean, the only one that could be a big return would maybe be someone like Malley if he were healthy and going well.
But even then, though, it's like he's a rental. So
so it's not going to be huge. You're not dipping into you're not dipping into BA and MILB's top 100. You're not going to get a prospect of that caliber. Maybe someone's top 30 prospect that's down at the bottom on that to get something back. But there's
and maybe it's like a guy who might be Rule 5 eligible the next year.
Exactly.
Something like that. So it's not going to be, there's not this bounty of prospects coming.
No.
And so
the only person that would bring something like that is going to be maybe a position player like a Josh Young if they were going to move him, that might bring someone back. But he's not. Yeah. Look at what he's doing.
Injury history, and he's struggling.
Oh well, now let's say that let's think outside the box. Let's say Wyatt Langford all of a sudden became available to sell. Yes, there's where you make your haul. But they're not selling Wyatt Langford. No. Wyatt Langford is their future.
I mean, they're stuck.
Yeah,
I really think that these guys are stuck. They can't make a major overhaul of the lineup.
You can't tear it down
until the offseason.
No.
At that point, you can, find guys who are maybe not as aggressive at the plate.
Sure.
Who are lower strikeout guys, who put the ball in play more. They have too many guys who don't do those things, who do strike out too much, don't put the ball in play enough.
Right.
And so the lineup needs to be reshaped a little bit there. But I don't think they're trading Simeon. I don't think they're trading Seager. Adolis maybe.
Sure.
But Langford and Carter, no.
No, they're not going. That's who you would trade for, these young, controllable players.
The catchers haven't been great offensively. Jonah's really cooled off. But you know what? They're pretty good defensive players, and Higashioka is going to make 6.5 next year. Heim's probably going to make about the same thing. That's okay. You can take that. Experienced catchers. I mean, their job really, if you look at it, is to get the pitchers through the innings, and you can't argue with the way that's happened so far.
No, not
so. I just think they're stuck, and Chris Young keeps saying it. The best thing the Rangers can do is to improve internally.
Right.
And because again, you're not going to ship salary. You're not going to ship core pieces just to get into playoffs for this year. And you got to keep the long range plan in mind too. This team they think is built to win. Now they feel like their core pieces will be with them to help them win in 26 and 27 and 28 too. So there's just so much that goes into this, but you're not going to see them. They're not going to see a fire sale. I would be
no.
There's just no need to do that.
To have a fire sale too. Let's be honest. You got to have players worth selling, and there aren't enough of them. So I tell you what, let's do this. We've talked about the big league stuff. Let's go down and let's get Hobie in here, and then we'll go down in the bus leagues after that. Hobie Milner is going to come up right after this, guys. All right, guys, been joining us right now for Pittsburgh, where the Texas Rangers are about to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend. It's Texas Rangers left-handed pitcher Hoby Milner, also a local guy from the DFW Metroplex. And I've become close with Hobie, and I are talking all the time. Of course, my son's going to UT, where Hobie's from. But Hobie, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot. Just about to start a series in Pittsburgh.
All right. So the other day, Bruce Bochy said that Hoby Milner has been the glue of the bullpen. What is that? That sounds like a real nice compliment. How do you feel about hearing that, and then how your season's gone so far?
I mean, that's a pretty nice compliment. I think that kind of means that I kind of fill a lot of roles. A lot of the times I'm pitching when we're down a few runs. I'll pitch when we're up a few runs. That kind of thing. But no, it's been a really good year, and there's nothing I can really complain about. I think we made some good adjustments in spring training, and I've kind of stuck with that game plan, and it's been working so far.
You seem to pitch, I don't want to say every day, but you seem to be available more often than the other guys, and you don't throw 98. But how do you get ready? How are you so available?
I mean, I do pride myself in availability. Like, that's kind of one of the top things I go for. But I mean, if I'm feeling sore, I'll play catch less. I'll just throw a few balls. I won't go max effort. I'll save my bullets for the game. And I mean, if I'm really, really hanging, I'll let them know that I'm not available to pitch. But most of the time, like, I can pitch pretty sore because I don't throw so hard. I don't throw as hard as the rest of the guys, so I can throw. I'm still effective as long as I'm able to hit spots and move the ball. That I could lose a mile an hour or two and still be pretty much just as effective.
Yeah, well, the best ability is availability.
Yeah,
that's what I hear. So I don't know how closely you followed Mike Maddox's career, but he always likes to have a guy like you, right-handed or left-handed, but kind of like a change of pace guy who just offers a different look. And there aren't a lot of guys like you. How did you get from maybe up higher to where you're at now?
So I was a conventional over the top, or like a 3/4 arm slot, high school, college, and in pro ball. Like, I got drafted as a starter, reliever, swingman. And then 2015 was my second year in AA, and I had a bad year numbers wise. I think I had like a 4.5 ERA, and I'd given up 25 homers, and about 140 innings. And our pitching coordinator was in town, and we were doing PFPs and pickoffs, and I do all of those sidearm. I feel the ball, throw it sidearm, I pick off sidearm. And he told me that it looked better throwing sidearm than it did when I threw over the top. So he said he thinks that I should try it on the mound. Like, he told me I had kind of like stalled out in AA, and it didn't look like there was any opportunity for me to get to AAA with the stuff I had. I was throwing 90, 92 over the top with no real movement, like just command. All I had was command. And so I gave it a little thought and threw a couple bullpens, and then was in games for that last month of the season in AA and throwing sidearm. And Then I went to Puerto Rico that off season to try and work on it some more. And the next year they held me back and extended to start the season. And then they sent me straight to AAA for a few outings. Then down to Double A, and I just had a really good year. And then I got Rule 5 by the Indians at the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. But I think I heard in an interview the other day, you keep getting lower. Is that just something that happens with age, or is that
no, I think every year I try and improve on last year.
Mhm.
And a lot of the times a little bit lower arm slot is going to provide me a little bit better movement, or maybe even better command, or better separation of my pitches, something like that. And like if you look at my not spray chart, but my vert and my depth and all the horizontal stuff, it is more separated this year than it was last year, just with a little bit lower arm slot. And so I've got throwing a 2-seam changeup instead of 4-seam changeup this year, so I have a more depth on that. The 4-seam is similar vert as last year with a little higher arm slot, and then the sinker is a little lower, and the slider has actually got a little more vert to it this year than it did in the years past because I'm lower.
Okay.
And so I'm just trying to like kind of make adjustments off of last season. And I mean, honestly, if I could, I would love to throw like Tyler Rogers, like throw down there, like that's the end goal. If I could just maintain good stuff from down there, that would be ideal for me. But I'm good with where I'm at, and if guys start hitting me, then I might be moving down a little lower, or maybe even raise up a little higher. Who knows?
Yeah, I was going to ask, how low can you go?
I occasionally will play catch. Like I try and imitate Tyler Rogers every once in a while playing catch, but it's I'm probably at about as low as I need to be at the moment, and
Okay.
we'll see next year what happens.
All right. Well, yeah, because in Rangers history, at least since I've been covering the team, Darren O'Day comes to mind.
Yeah.
Right-hander. You're not as low as he was. So there is some room, I guess. But so you watch guys who come from that angle.
Yeah, I when I first dropped down, I tried to like imitate other pitchers. Like Darren O'Day was the guy that I picked initially, and I was throwing lower in Puerto Rico than I am now. Like I was attempting to be like Darren O'Day, and it just wasn't
Okay.
working. He actually has more vert, or had more vert on his fastball than I do now with my arm slot. Like he would still manage to get underneath the ball and carry it from that arm slot, and it was, I mean, it's really impressive the way he did it. But I couldn't do what he did, and so I found a way to be myself by, when I started playing catch, I just picked up the ball like I was fielding a ball for PFP and
Yeah.
threw it to a guy, and then I got on the rubber and I fielded a ball on the rubber, threw it to the catcher, and that's basically how I found my mechanics.
Yeah, Darren, when he made his debut, maybe you remember it because you were in the area. He was a waiver claim.
Yeah.
And the Rangers were in Toronto, and so he flies in. After the game starts, he arrives, and the Rangers couldn't get his jersey back in time. So he, I don't know, maybe it's the Canadian tailors or something. We're really busy that night, but so he had to wear the jersey of Kaysen Gabbard, who had been acquired the 2 years before. So, and then
Actually, I've seen that clip before. I remember seeing that. I don't know if I watched it live, but
the game goes extra innings, and they need him. So he goes into the game. He hadn't even met the manager yet. He hadn't met Ron Washington yet. So he's meeting everybody on the mound. He threw like one pitch, and the game ended because it was like a single or sac fly or something. But it was a crazy debut.
Yeah,
but he had a great career.
Yeah,
he did.
Fantastic.
He did give up the 4th homer to Josh Hamilton in Josh Hamilton's 4-homer game. He was pitching for the Orioles.
For Baltimore? Was he?
Yeah.
Or was that Baltimore? Yeah.
Yeah.
At Baltimore, where we'll be next week.
Can't hold him responsible. Happened 3
I
times before.
also that off season I went to Puerto Rico. I was playing catch with Alex Claudio, who was currently
Oh,
at
yeah.
Alex.
Rangers. So I was trying to pick his brain. I couldn't match his changeup, trying to throw like the way he pronated his changeup. Couldn't do that, but he was giving me pointers here and there too.
I've got an Alex Claudio story. So spring training against the Brewers. This would be before your tenure, because he was still right at the AAA level. Game there in Maryville, and bases loaded, gets himself into trouble. Next batter hits a line drive back to him right off his nuts, and he fields it, throws it to first, gets out of the inning. He stays in the game, gets out of the inning. So and Alex, his English has gotten much better, but at the time he was limited, and so after the game, we were on the field. I said, "Hey Alex, where did that ball hit you?" He said, "In the deek."
Nice.
But he still lives in the area, and his oldest son is my son's age, and he plays for a good little team that's run by Elvis's Anders's brother.
Okay.
And,
really? Isn't it like Colleyville or somewhere around there that he's at?
I think he
Grapevine?
lives in Flower Mound, Alex. But
Okay.
anyway, so I'll see him every once in a while. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And I always says hi to me and
Yeah.
comes out of his way. There are a lot of good people on this team and in this organization. So
yes,
anyway,
I've noticed
I've
that.
gotten way off track here.
Right.
But anyway, you're doing great. And you did mention adjustments in spring training. You did not have a good spring.
Correct. Correct.
At what point did you start tinkering? Was it right away? I mean, you get into the game and see what it's like, but maybe you need a couple games.
No, I basically I didn't have my ideal year last season. 2023 had a great year, and 2024 was supposed to be like, okay, like here's how you got your outs in 23. Let's get the outs the same way. But we kind of forgot how I got to get to like 2 strikes, and so I became like very one-dimensional last season. Like I was only arm side fastballs to lefties, only glove side fastballs to righties, and no changeups to lefties, and a lot of changeups to righties. And that's just kind of, I was very one dimensional. It was pretty predictable last year. And so this year in spring training, basically I'm like, okay, well, I know I used to get outs inside, so I need to figure out where inside. Is it off the plate? Is it up and in? Is it down and in? So I did that the whole time and just didn't throw away at all. And then it turns out that it doesn't matter where I throw it inside if I don't throw anything away.
Gotcha.
And so I'm just trying to find that. I was like, oh yeah, it's up and in. I got to go up and in the lefties the whole time, and they just smack it down the right field line. Okay. Or I'd fall behind 2-1 trying to get there. And I didn't, and now I'm throwing away. I'm mixing in a lot more breaking balls to lefties. I'm not just like heaters in the whole time. And then with righties, I'm also mixing in both off speeds a lot. So it was really just an approach change. It's not a mechanical thing. I will say my slider improved with some like minor little grip changes with thought process from spring training to the regular season. Or it was kind of like, it was good some of the time in spring training, but it was inconsistent until I really like honed in on what I needed to do with my grip. And then it became pretty consistent right around season time.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, like that's what spring training's for, is to figure everything out. And like I'd have a bad outing in spring, and we're like, all right, well, we got 3 weeks left. Let's figure it out. And I'd have another bad outing in spring. Yeah, you got 2 weeks left.
Does Arizona affect you more than maybe other pitchers? Just the thin air and lack of spin and all that.
Well, so like I know that playing in Colorado, horizontal, like guys that have a lot of horizontal, it's tough to get that horizontal there. I know guys with vert, like everyone loses vert as well and depth, but with vert and depth, I feel like it's still easier to like locate high and low, like in the strike zone. Or you can go in and out with your vert, but when you're throwing like horizontal and you're trying to hit a corner away, it makes it a lot harder to hit that corner when it's not moving as much horizontally as you thought it was going to move. And so you really have to rely on up and down, and which means you're going to be over the middle of the plate more. But I think, yeah, my slider is terrible in thin air. But I mean, so is everybody else's. But
Right.
I feel like horizontally it might be affected a little more. But I don't think it was my stuff that was hurting me. It was just my thought process, game plan, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. All right, now it's John's turn.
Yeah. So what we do here, he talks baseball stuff. I talk the fun stuff you and I have already talked about, but I love doing this. For those that don't know, Hobie is a DFW guy. He grew up in the Metroplex, went to Fort Worth Pascal High School, which I have a story. I'm probably Hobie's parents' age, to tell you the truth, but the only home run I ever hit in my life over a fence was against Fort Worth Pascal over in Fort Worth, over there.
Over the monster and right?
No, I hit it to left field.
Okay.
I was
Wow,
right-handed. Only one I ever hit my junior year. First
boy.
Had a boy. So that was it. Anyway,
I umpired a game there once when I was in college.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this now. So, you obviously you were very good at baseball coming out of high school. Did you play any other sports besides baseball?
My sophomore year, I was a kicker and punter for the football team.
Oh no.
Other than that, no, I didn't play anything else.
Lefty? Did you kick left-footed? And
yep, kicked left-footed, and we were so bad. We didn't win any games that year. My baseball coach was the special teams coach, and he knew that I played soccer growing up. Like, he was like, "Hey, can you come try out kicking for us? Because we got nobody." Yeah, sure, I'll try. And I kicked and punted a little bit, and I went out there and punted, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, you made the team." And so that's how I got my varsity jacket, was football. But I made like 2 field goals all year and punted like, I averaged probably 7 punts a game. It was bad. We were
we
were really bad.
More popular people.
Well, when Fort Worth teams are bad,
yes,
teams are bad. They're really bad.
They are. In fact, I have cousins. You know, the one I always talk about, Gretchen Bouton, and her. His kids went to Pascal. I would go out and go to football games, and actually, he's younger than you, probably by about 4 or 5 years. But his name was Dunson Woodard. I don't know if you know that name out there, but he played baseball there at that field too. I watched. He played linebacker, but they had a defensive lineman his junior year that went to Alabama. Like a unbelievable player that played there. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now coming out of high school, you were drafted in the 44th round by by the Nationals.
Yep.
You chose not to go. You and I talked about this. You kind of had a money set that you said you were going to get, but you ended up going to UT. Hook 'em horns. I'm a big Horn fan anyway. But talk about other schools, because you and I talked about this. If you go to UT, it means you're being recruited. If you get drafted, it means you're recruited. Who else was on your radar? Where did you almost go, and why was it UT?
The other schools I was really considering were TCU, Rice, Oklahoma State. Those were really the final ones. I think when I went to UT on an official visit, I was like, it's hard to turn this down. I didn't have like a bias or anything. I didn't like have any family that was affiliated with any schools. I didn't grow up like a fan of any school, but I went down to a football game in Austin, and they were playing Mizzou at the time, and they broke the record for most fans at a sporting event in Texas. It was like 104,000 people at the game, and I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome. It's going to be kind of hard to beat this. I didn't go to a Rice football game, but I know it wouldn't have been the same atmosphere.
Oh my God.
And I grew up in Fort Worth, obviously, and TCU, I'd watched a lot of TCU football games, baseball games. Was a fan, but I wanted to like get out of town. I didn't want to live at home. I wanted to, go have the college experience away from home. And I mean, if TCU was located in Austin, maybe I'd have been at TCU instead of Austin. But that's basically why I ended up in Austin.
And your wife's from TCU, right? She went to TCU?
Correct. Yeah.
So did I, Hobie. So this disappoints me greatly that you didn't go to TCU.
Also, another reason was TCU was in the Mountain West
Yeah.
that year, and then I think the next season or the year after that they switched to the Big 12. I think it was my junior year that they had switched to the Big 12, but they beat us my freshman year in the Super Regional to go to Omaha, which was tough.
Yeah, that 2010 team was good.
Matt
I
Perk.
think it was 2010. When was
Yeah,
it?
it was Matt Perk.
Yeah.
That team.
Matt Perk,
Former Ranger, great, right?
former Ranger first round pick who did not sign.
Yeah.
Because the Rangers were in financial hell, bankruptcy, and the offer that they agreed to when they drafted him, the commissioner didn't approve it because they were bankrupt. So he didn't take the money that the Rangers offered him. So there you go. So Augie was your coach, right?
Yes.
When was his infamous speech, or maybe it was his famous speech?
I think that was like 4 years before I got there.
Oh, dang it!
Around 4 years before I got there. I know they were still in the other locker room on the third base side, and the field was AstroTurf at the time. So I never played with any of the guys that were in that room.
Okay,
but you probably heard something similar. He seemed like a pretty fiery dude that could go off.
Yes, I heard a few things, not near that like extent, but
yeah,
like he definitely would blow up on us here and there. Like usually it would happen after we would lose a Tuesday game against a school like Oral Roberts or UTSA or somebody like non-conference.
Yeah.
And yeah, he would blow us up for that.
What was the furthest y'all went with your time at UT? Did y'all make it out of super regionals ever? Did you ever get to
2011 we went to Omaha and we lost both games we played there.
Okay. So you played in the College World Series. Okay,
yeah.
So let me add, this is one of my fun ones I love to ask too. So you get drafted in the 44th round, but then you turn around, the Phillies take you in the 7th round out of the University of Texas in 2012. You weren't one of the top round picks, and I don't think in 12 they were doing that yet.
MLB Network hadn't been.
They really hadn't done where you would show up and kind of do like they do for the NFL draft.
They weren't.
But
doing
what
that
I do love to ask, where were you when you found out you had gotten, even in high school, where were you at? Were you watching it? You know, they used to do thing online where you could follow it. How did you find out each time that you had been drafted?
Okay, so high school, it was right after high school graduation. My mom and I went to Costa Rica for a graduation vacation.
Okay.
No internet, no phone, no nothing. But I had already talked to the scouts. I said, I'm not signing like I had told you before, like I'm not going to sign unless I get something like $2 million. Like my college experience it's going to be worth like $2 million for me, basically. Like I want to go to college. I want to do all that. So like you basically got to sign me in the first round or draft me in the first round or I'm not going. And they were all like, yeah, we're not going to do that. So have fun in college. We'll see ya. And so I didn't even like watch the draft or anything, but I came home and right after I got off the plane, turned my phone on, had a voicemail from a scout with the Nationals, like, "Hey, it's so and so. We drafted you. Like, we're gonna send you some paperwork. Don't sign it. Hopefully, we'll see you in the future." And then he said I deserved to be drafted based off of my performance up to that point. So he's like, "You deserve to be drafted. We know you're not going to sign. There you go." And then in college, I was at my college apartment, and I think my parents were there, and we were just listening. Actually, we had it up on the computer, because I don't think it was televised then. I think you had to watch it on MLB stream or whatever. So yeah, we were streaming it on there and just waiting for phone calls.
Did you get the call beforehand or right before that they were going to take you, or did you get drafted, you watched it, and then someone called you?
We got a phone call like right before, like, "Hey, this is the Phillies. We want to take you in the next pick."
Probably threw a number
what
at
would
you.
You agree to? Yeah, I just said slot. Like whatever slot is, I'll take it.
Yeah. You were ready to go. Yeah. So you were ready to get going on your career and do that. Okay. So you make your major league debut on June 24th, 2017. That's when you make your major league debut. This would be my dream as either myself, if I'd gone far enough, or the father of the kid that gets this call. How did you find out you were going to be a big leaguer? Who told you? Did they make a joke out of it? Anything like that? I love this. And then who did you call right away, and where did it go?
So I was in AAA. We were in, what is AAA for the Red Sox?
Pawtucket.
It was Pawtucket at the time. It was Pawtucket at the time, and I was at my hotel room in the morning with my road roommate, and get a knock on the hotel room door, and I'm in the bathroom, and my roommate goes answers the door, and it's my manager, and he's like, "Hey, where's Hobie at?" He's like, "Oh, he's in the bathroom." So I'm like, "All right." I go out, and he's like, "Hey, you're going to the big leagues, and you can take your roommate with you." Because neither one of us had been to the big leagues before. So Cameron Perkins was my roommate. He's a position player, and we're both drafted in the same draft, and so we both got called up, or we both got added to the roster that day and called up.
Immediately flying out. Where was the team at when you did that?
They were in Philly.
They were
okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you were on a plane to Philly doing that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did you have time to get people to the game? You know, family and.
No, I didn't get anyone to the game that day. But I didn't pitch for 6 days.
Okay.
So I was up
6 days.
Yeah, I got called up and didn't pitch for 6 days. I think.
Okay.
I think I got called up on the 19th, and that was, or you said the 24th was my debut, so I'm 5 days, something like that. I know I withered away because I could barely eat for that whole time. My velo was down. I was throwing 85 when I was throwing 89, 90 in AAA.
Yeah.
Just
you were just ready to
nervous
go,
as could be. Yeah, ready to go.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to keep you on her just for a few more minutes. You got to get to the ballpark. I know that. Hey, by the way, when you were at UT, did you live in an athletic dorm? My son got his. He's going to Jester yesterday. We got it. You know where Jester is.
Congrats. Yeah, I know what Jester is. No, I lived in West Campus in an apartment.
From the beginning. Okay.
From the beginning, yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So what we're going to do, we always do this with everybody. It's our last question we do. It's a fun question to get you out of here. And you'll love some of the answers we get, but it's what's something that nobody knows about Hoby Milner. Let me give you some examples. One of them would be your general manager, Chris Young, who is a big fan of in his spare time, he likes documentaries, the true crime documentaries. That's kind of like his fix. Who else do we have that had some?
I mean, we've had guys who like Davis Wenzel.
Yeah,
he when he was 4, his finger got caught in the door and part of it got cut off.
Yeah,
and so they had to sew it back together.
Yeah, something like that.
Some crazy stuff. What we had a couple minor leaguers on who are watching rom-coms right now.
Yeah, so, they're big rom-com guys or something like that. Actually, you know what? You do have a pretty interesting story. When he went to UT, he was a two-way player.
Oh,
he was a two-way player. Tell that story real quick.
Okay. Yeah. So in high school, I was 3rd team All-State pitcher, 1st team All-State outfielder. I was really solid outfielder, solid hitter. But I don't think I projected to be a big leaguer, a professional hitter. I didn't have the power, bat speed, whatever. I had an old school slappy swing. And got to college, and I in the negotiations, I was like, I want to play in the outfield too. And they're like, all right, yeah, sure. I don't know. It might've just been a courtesy to get me to go there. But in the fall I was hitting pretty well. And then one day after practice, me and another teammate were just hanging around, getting extra reps, and he was throwing to me in a batting cage, with behind an L screen. He was a lefty, and he was just throwing, just getting a little pin in, kind of, and we didn't have any catchers, nobody was there, and he threw one that hit the L screen and ricocheted up and hit me in the eye.
Oh, Jesus.
It redirected a third of the way there and smoked me in the eye, and I ended up breaking my orbital bone, blew out the roof of my sinus, like had
Jesus.
surgery, and that was the end of my hitting career. That was
Did
it.
Augie throw a fit over that?
No, he didn't. I think they're probably like, all right, fine, he's done with hitting. We don't have to entertain that idea anymore. He can
At
just
least
focus
it
on
was the
pitching
fall
now.
and you didn't have to miss any springtime.
Correct.
At that
Yeah,
point,
it was
might
just
as
the
well, I
fall. I
guess.
missed 6 weeks. No problem.
Okay. So you know the question. So
That's a pretty good.
yeah, that's pretty good. But to see if there's anything else, is there anything that nobody knows about Hoby Milner?
That nobody know. No. Well, I'm a cat guy. I got my cat dad shirt on. It's probably backwards on y'all's screen. These are
No, it's
these are
not.
my 2 cats. Darth
So
Kitty Puss, and Emma.
Are those your
Emma
cats?
is the one with the white. Wait, no, that's not white. This one and this one, and then Darth Kitty Puss is the other 3 pictures.
Those are your cats?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
so
got 5 cats?
No, it's just 5 pictures of my 2 cats.
Oh, okay.
my 2 cats. Okay.
Yes.
Your wife did that for you. Is that who got that for you?
Or the kiddos?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or the kids?
I've also got like a sweatshirt here with me that's like best cat dad ever shirt or something like that with Darth Kitty Puss on it.
Do you like dogs at all, or is it just cats?
No, I do like dogs. Just the lifestyle we live, it's too hard to. My wife travels to the road trips a lot, so
yeah,
can't just leave the dogs. But we can leave the cats at home and have someone come by and feed them, play with them for a little bit, and then leave.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have a litter box that they go to, so you're pretty.
I would like to have a dog or 2 someday, but I grew up with them, but not yet.
All right. Well, Hobie, if you ever think about inviting me to dinner, I can't come over because I'm definitely allergic.
Okay.
We'll have to go out. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to get out somewhere and do that.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we can't stress this enough. You and I have gotten to know each other, and I have a blast every time talking to you. And it's because it's real. We don't talk about baseball. We're talking about stuff going on.
I don't talk about baseball with most of the guys.
Yeah, that's what makes it so much fun. Just talking about what's going on. You know, what's up with the thing. But look, when you guys take your time to talk to us, you have busy schedules. We know you have busy schedules, but you take your time to sit down, talk with us for 20, 30 minutes. We really appreciate that. And just want to thank you so much for coming on with us, bud.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Hey, good luck this weekend. You guys, let's get this thing turned around and rolling is what we're ready to do.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys, that's Hoby Milner. We're going to come back right after this, go down in the bus leagues. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Hoby.
No problem.
All right, guys, a big thanks to Hoby Milner for joining us right there. And now it's time to go down in the bus leagues, and we are going to go from the top to the bottom. And when I say top, we're going from AAA, and I say bottom, I mean the Dominican Summer League, where 2 teams are playing right now. And we'll at least touch on records and what they're doing. We're going to start out AAA, the Round Rock Express. They are not well right now. They are 33 and 39. And they are in like 4th place right now. They are 4-6 in their last 10, but more importantly, they have lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, they're playing at Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City
is good.
The Dodgers affiliate, and they're
stacked.
They're pretty good. They played a day game Wednesday, and
is that the one that got shelled?
Like 16-1.
Yeah, I was about to say
it was terrible. But it's the usual suspects: Krim, Foscue, Freeman, who are doing well.
Freeman's done good since he's been on.
Krim rolled his ankle the other day, Tuesday, when everybody thought he was getting called up. He left the game in the 4th inning, and just because a guy leaves the game doesn't mean he's coming to the major leagues. He gets hurt, he gets sick, his wife goes into labor. I don't know, but Blaine Krim has rolled his ankle. I think he'll be fine. But those guys are pretty solid trio.
And consistent,
yeah. And Kellen Strom, I know he's been around the organization for a long time. He's having a real nice year, and
he never has a real bad year. Though.
So good for him. You kind of look around the rest of the roster. Marcus Smith is continuing to hold his own.
Finally,
which is great. Finding some consistency.
He was the big part of that Dustin Harris trade.
Right. And Dustin Harris is heating up a little bit. So his OPS has climbed here lately. It was real tough for him for a while. On the pitching side, again, we've talked about this. They don't have a ton of starting depth.
Yeah.
Dane Dunning, it was good to see him while he was up. But
Never got
he was never
activated.
activated. So kind of a bummer there. But I still think that when the Rangers need a reliever, it'll probably be Curvello. He's been good enough. Robbie Alstrom, my guy, Robbie Alstrom.
Yep.
He's not on the 40 man, but he'll go out there and fight for you. Gerson Garabito no longer in the organization.
Well, you've been saying this is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a miracle it lasted this long.
He's going to go to Korea. Or?
Korea, Samsung Lions, great. Good luck. Opens up a 40-man spot,
and which they have not filled yet, right?
Right, and then Teodo has a hip deal right now, so they had given him a program, something to to work on that they thought would help him as far as getting his command, his control harnessed in. I think he's really struggling with the ABS because these hitters aren't chasing. He's a high chase pitcher. Well, and these guys just know. And then Patrick Murphy, remember the guy who would have made the opening day roster if not for a late spring injury. He is back. He's had one bad outing, but the Rangers are acutely aware of Patrick Murphy. So,
okay. Well, Teodo better get used to it because it sounds like the ABS is coming up.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a challenge system. That's still going to be the thing. But the ABS is a thing. I mean, it tripped up Cole Winn.
Yep.
I really think that's what was Cole Winn's problem. And
he got people to chase a lot and get.
He has really good stuff. So anyway, that's the state of our sponsor, the Round Rock Express.
All right. Well, then let's go down to our. Possibly other. Are they supposed to work some stuff with us?
I don't know.
We'll see. Anyway, let's go to AA, the Frisco Rough Riders, who, by the way, in all of this are the best team in the minor league system with the most major league talent probably on the team right there. They're 37-28. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They did win last night, but they're in first place. And, you can say talent. They're good there, but let's give Carlos a little credit too.
The manager's great. The manager he needs to be on a big league staff
somewhere.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, they're in first place. The first half ends, I believe, this on Sunday. So they're trying to win the South Division. They're up a half a game after the win last night. If you win the first half, you automatically make the playoffs. Doesn't matter what you do in the second half, what your roster looks like, how it changes. So anyway, and again, we keep talking about the same guys. Walcott, just doing a tremendous job. I
19-year-old Walcott.
I just can't say enough about him. His on-base percentage is 100 points higher than his batting average. So that tells you, yeah, he still strikes out a lot, but he is, I think, second on the team in walks behind only walk machine Aaron Zavala, who's had a nice rebound year. So I saw Cam Colley the other day playing center field. So that's kind of an interesting development. He's such a great athlete.
Maybe they're trying to get all their guys in the lineup somehow. And
anyway, he's.
Hey, when you see Walcott go to the outfield, or who else was it that we were talking about that if you start seeing them get to the outfield, then you might start to wonder some things. What was that?
No, Cody Freeman.
Cody Freeman. Yeah. That's who we were talking about. That's right. Last week. Yeah, that's what.
But anyway, just
on the pitching side,
just a solid little team. The pitching, Cole Drake had a real good outing the other night. Josh Stephen had a nice outing last night, which he needed. And then Mitch Bratt's just Mr. Steady and reliable.
Yeah.
I think that Cole Drake will probably be in AAA here before too long. I think he'll go before Bratt. It's more power stuff than Brad has. Brad's more command, and as he was explaining, kind of pitching backwards,
sure,
stuff like that. But both of them have been wildly effective, so that's great. But I think Cole Drake will get promoted a little bit before Mitch. So,
but Mitch is going to end up in AAA too if he keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah, well, maybe after the first half, you'll see that.
Yeah.
And then your guy Davalillo is making his AA debut tonight.
Yeah, David Davalillo. I wish I was staying in town. Kathy and I are heading out. It's our 20th anniversary. 22nd anniversary. Sorry, I better get that right. Jeez. And we're heading out of town just for a little 3-day getaway. But Davalillo that's my guy. I mean, I've been watching that guy.
We'll see what happens in AAA.
Whose guy that is? That's Finstermaker's guy, who once again pointed out somebody and said, "Watch
keeps nailing them.
He keeps nailing them, doesn't he? All right, let's go down to the Hub City Spartanburgers, the high A team, the first year in existence for the Hub City Spartanburgers. 31 and 34. They are 2-8 in their last 10 games. They did win. They're in about third place there.
Yeah, they've kind of faded. They were, it's not a.
Their ace isn't there anymore.
Right. There's not like a great team there.
No.
Or, maybe it's a lot of parity, whatever it is.
Dryling's there.
Yeah, but and Keith Jones has really had a good bounce back.
Yeah,
he was on our show, the Mr. 300.
Yeah, the
bowler. He's done a nice job here lately. He's been really, really hot. Anthony Gutierrez is starting to drive the ball a little more. The power is still it's kind of got the Rangers dumbfounded. His OPS is below 600. They're having trouble figuring that one out, but he is healthy. He's a great base runner. He's a terrific center fielder. So they're not giving up on him by any stretch. And excuse me, Malcolm Moore is still out, but he should be back here pretty soon. So
what on the pitching side is Porter still?
Porter is in Hickory.
Oh.
Mason Molina was just called up from Hickory to Hub City, the guy they got for Grant Anderson from the Brewers organization, left-hander, went to college, Arkansas. So he might be hurting after that game the other night, but
that was bad.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Leandro Lopez is having a nice season. His record 2-4 doesn't reflect that. Jose Gonzalez still solid. So there's some good pitchers. Aiden Curry's having a nice rebound year. So that's good. There are just some guys down there who, the names, and you're seeing them.
So if they when
over the course of the year here, the guys who stay consistent are the ones who you're like, all right, this guy's got a shot at the next level.
Well, then who's the guy? So like you always talk about how crap rolls downhill, but goodness rolls uphill. So when that starts, who are the guys do you think you're going to see that have a chance to get to Double A?
Well, Davalillo obviously is right there. The guys who are a little older, and
right, they need a challenge.
Davalillo's he's 22, I think. So
Dryling in them, they got a chance to see some.
Probably. I mean, they need to produce a little more.
Sure, absolutely.
But Leandro Lopez, he just turned 23 the other day.
Oh yeah, so he needs.
So he's a guy who's probably going to get moved up here. And so from Hickory, they just got Devin Fitzgerald.
Yeah, about to go down to Hickory. I want to talk about him. Let's go down to there right now.
That's a big deal.
Let's go down to A-ball. Hickory Crawdads have been an organization for a while. They were high A, now they're back down to low A. They're 33 and 32, 5-5 in their last 10. They did lose last night. Yeah, but Fitzgerald's there. When did he make his debut there?
Oh, I don't know.
It's this week. He
got promoted.
He just got promoted. This kid tore up the.
Man, yeah, we'll get to him and his Arizona Complex League numbers here in just a second. But he's on the move. This is a 19-year-old, so this is a big step for him. He's played one game for Hickory, went 1 for 3.
Okay.
Maxon Martin, who was on our show earlier in the year, continues to be their best offensive player. Did not have the DLLS weekly podcast jinx put on him like Dryling and Keith Jones did for a little while there.
Hey, it helped Freeman.
Absolutely. So on the pitching side, everybody's still looking at Caden Scarborough, he's doing all right. Brock Porter's the other name down there, still working in relief, and like we explained the other day, that's just kind of the way they're going to let it roll for now, and see what happens. They haven't closed the door on him being a starting pitcher, but right now they like what he's doing.
His velo's back up, isn't it?
Getting the feel for the mound again, all of that good stuff. Okay. And so if you're looking for somebody to get promoted from there, after Molina, maybe Jabril Easley, because he was in college.
Yeah, college pitcher, right?
Yeah. Ishmael Agreda. I can't say his name. Some of these Spanish names just get me. Even though I took years and years of Spanish, I still A, can't speak Spanish, and B, get tripped up. So anyway, and then there are a couple guys who will be coming very, very soon from the Arizona Complex League. And then Dalton Pence, the 11th round pick last year, lefty reliever. He's headed to Hickory very soon. I think
he's headed to Hickory from the AS.
I'm sorry, he said it's a Hub City from Hickory. He had he was away from the team for a personal matter. I think there might have been a illness in the family or something like that.
All right. So
he's
trying to get his image.
He will be in Hub City very, very soon.
Got to get back on it, start facing some hitters again, and do that. That was something. Okay, so that's and Martin. I saw where Maxton's got 7 home runs, leads the team there. So young kid again too. This is another high school kid that was drafted and was in Oregon. Did he say he was in Oregon? Is that what he was before he took the deal with the Rangers? All right, let's go down to the. Speaking of Arizona, we'll go down to the Arizona Complex League. They are 19-15. They're in first place. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They have lost 3 in a row. But this is it. You know, that comes late. Sometimes you're just throwing arms on there late to see what they're going to do, and they give up something. Their leader is no longer their leader. He is no longer there.
Yeah, Fitzgerald was he was leading the league. He's a shortstop, and he's like 5'10". He was leading that league in home runs with 6. He was named the Rangers Player of the Month for May. Tons and tons and tons of positive things to say about him. Paulino Santana is coming on. Who was the big money deal 2 years ago?
Yeah, the international signing.
He's doing a nice job, and you will find right now in Arizona Malcolm Moore, who is on his way back from the broken finger. He's played in 3 games, only 7 at bats, but
good.
He's on his way.
First round pick.
Yeah, Yolfran Castillo kind of slumping. He's striking out maybe a little bit more than the Rangers thought he would. But this is another teenager, so don't start to panic. On the pitching side, a couple things worth mentioning. The guys who will soon be no longer in Arizona. Hageman, who was the 5th round pick last year from West Virginia. He had Tommy John surgery, and the Rangers knew it. Took him anyway because they like his stuff. He is very soon will be headed to Hickory to kind of get him to where he's supposed to be, because he's
too old to be right. Yeah, he's ready. He's ready to get out.
He's just toying with these kids. So he will be on the move here very soon. And so anyway, look for that to happen imminently.
And last but not least, quickly. There are 2 teams playing in the Dominican Summer League. And what did somebody tell you?
Okay, well, yeah.
Normally they split these teams out.
They try to be equal. You know, all right, let's not go too crazy here. But the red team, the team that's very good, has been just absolutely.
They got the talent. They got the talent.
Oh, Garrett Horn. Garrett Horn will be going to Hickory from Arizona as well. Yeah. But yeah, back to
Dominican
Summer League.
The red team's
8-4. The blue team's 2-10, and there's a reason for that, because the red team. Lots and lots of talent on that team.
Yeah, they made no bones about it. They're going to put
starting with their big prize from their most recent signing class, Alorki Rodriguez. He's killing it. 1105 OPS for a kid who's 17.
Yeah.
The Cuban signing Marco Argudin, whatever, 425. He's batting all right. He'll probably be going to Arizona real soon. I don't know if Alorki will go as soon, but Marco, I think he's way above his age. He's way above the age level.
Yeah,
he's 19, so I would suspect that he goes soon. He was just signed in February, so maybe they're just trying to get a feel for him or whatever. But
I tell you what,
they've got a feel now. They know that he's too good for that league.
I tell you what, it's pretty smart to put your more talented team together. And when I say that. For the blue team, you may look at, well, these are just fill-in players. Somebody can go into that blue team and shine. If you're going to get to play every day, you're going to do that, and all of a sudden you figure it out, and you weren't going to get to play split time, whatever, with the other. It's opportunity. I've said this to everybody. Everything's an opportunity. It's whether you take advantage of the opportunity.
But the red team, basically what I was told was they walk a lot and they hit a lot of home runs. So. You know, that's pretty good.
That's actually really good.
Probably want that.
Yes.
the current Rangers would like to have that.
Yes.
And then the blue team, I think the name that you'll probably recognize is David Ortiz Jr.
Right.
You might have heard of him. So that's about that. You know,
Okay.
we don't need to talk about the blue team too much right now.
Hey, someday a name will pop off that blue team
100%
that we're going to see in Hickory,
Yep.
or maybe all the way up playing in Arlington, Texas. They played for. In fact, there's some guys probably now that are knocking on the door or here that might have been on one of those teams.
Yeah,
playing down there.
The problem is that the season's over. They start at different times, so the complex league will end before the Dominican league, and there may not be the opportunity
to get over here,
get guys up. But I would suspect that
you got to get them where they can play, though. They need to play
and Rodriguez might have a chance.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wind this one down. It went a little long today, but Hoby Milner was on here, and we appreciate that. Listen, we'll be back here next week. Obviously, we've already think we got somebody lined up. Not going to announce that yet. So he said he's going to do it. Another big leaguer. But we're going to end this one. Big thanks to Hoby Milner. For Hoby Milner, Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore. Until next week, guys, we'll see you at the yard.